What's up, guys? McBillyBoy here, back for another video. Talking about Monster Hunter Wilds today. Get straight into it. The game's looking impressive, you guys. The more trailers that I see that come out, the more excitement I start to feel. I seen a trailer like yesterday. I think it came out yesterday, and it was that one with the temple, and there was all that fire and stuff like that. And then they like opened up something, they're like, oh, this was never supposed to happen again or something like that. And they released like this, it's called the Black Flame. And it's basically a octopus looking creature that can like pick you up and like, you know, I really enjoy when a monster has like the finishing moves on your character and like can kill you, kind of like a Dark Souls. I think that's a spicy touch to the game, man. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what brings a freaking smile to my face. But there's always the chance you can escape it. I seen the guy with the knife. He wasn't going hard with it. I think it was just kind of to show what can happen if you were unsuccessful in getting out of its grip or something like that. But that was really fucking cool. That's exciting shit. When I see stuff like that, I get really happy because this game might change everything. And it is really starting to look that way. I know I was very critical the other time about talking about Monster Hunter and Wilds because I have never played the game and I didn't want to be too critical, but I said something about like the mounts, they kind of like look weird, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to enjoy the mounting system, or I don't want to knock something until I try it for myself. So the whole mounting system, let's see what it's all about, right? Let's give this game the benefit of the doubt. Because I know this game is going to either one, suck, or number two, be so fucking good that it just rewrites the entire series. Like, as just the foundation of everything. Because you don't want the game to be the old games again. I understand. I read a lot of the comments. You guys are like, you know, that old attitude, right? Sorry, what am I trying to say here? The attitude of you just saying like the nostalgic things were the only things. That's kind of wrong, because I'm not seeing it through the lens of like newer players and like the people who have just jumped onto the series. They don't know the old hunters, the old hunter games. But I'm not going to knock them for like liking the ones that are out right now, because that's not fair to them. So I'm just going to say I'll never be disrespectful to a Monster Hunter game because I know how far it's come. But I would really like to give Wilds a really good chance because I think it deserves that. It deserves a spotlight. A lot of people are very hyped, and I am too. The weapons look amazing, you guys. The armor sets, they're not this fucking Monster Hunter World looking shit. It looks well designed, like a really good design on them. Kind of like Monster Hunter Freedom or Unite. It's got that nice look to it. And the health bars too. The stamina and health bars, they kind of like have like lightning through it. I found that to be really, really interesting, and I'm just excited. Like, I signed up for the demo. I'm hoping I can get into the demo. Yeah, that would be really cool. Getting into the demo, just giving it a first-hand opinion on like just everything. I would try all the weapons. I think the one I'm most excited for would be bowgun. Like heavy bowgun, light bowgun. I was always just a big bowgun user, and I would use bow as well. But this time I think I'll try like greatsword or maybe lance. Lance was looking cool. Do they still have gun lance? I didn't see it. They might though. Gun lance is a very cool weapon because you can charge it up and then shoot it. But it's got this like really nice like Dragonator. You remember the Dragonator thing? You'd go and hit it and it would like shoot the big spike out, and then it would have a really long cooldown time, right? That's what the gun lance basically had. It was like this really powerful attack that you could use every like 3 minutes or something like that. And you'd have to be very careful because the charge up was long. You would have to use it in moments where you knew you could get optimal damage. That's something that like made me happy about weapons. Even back then, like it had that special touch, but it looks like more of a comboing weapon now than it ever was before. I know in Monster Hunter Rise, they changed up some of the ways the weapons felt in a good way, not a bad way. If there's one thing I've always like been excited for in Monster Hunter games and like newer ones was the combat system. If the flow feels right, then I'm aboard, right? Like I'll jump on that ship every fucking time. But if the combat feels wonky and it doesn't feel fluent like it's supposed to, then it's kind of like, you know, do I really want to continue playing? Because Rise, you know, kind of felt a little janky. But I'm hoping that like Wilds really fixes that up and makes me appreciate a really well thought out combat system again. Now, let's go and talk about something else now. Let's talk about loot. I'm hoping that they get loot correct. Throughout the entire series, they've had loot pretty spot on. So if they don't touch things too much, I think it should be a-okay. Loot was always something that Monster Hunter games had a really good grasp on. Capcom was phenomenal with their loot system. I mean, there was people who modded it, right? Like they would go, hey, I don't like the way that this item, like the gem, you'd sometimes get like a jewel from a monster and it would be like a 1% drop rate. Like there was a time back then when you would kill Lao Shang Lung and it was a 35-minute fight and you couldn't skip things. Like you had to do damage to it and then it had to make it to you. And then the fight would end instantly. Like if you did a lot of damage to it, it would just end. But you had to wait 35 minutes and it was a real pain in the ass. But you needed these Lao Shang Lung gems from it. And you would not get it all the time. It would be like a 1% drop rate or 2% or something like that. But the problem here is you're waiting 35 minutes to just kill this thing. And higher rank Lao Shang Lung took a lot of damage and it was like the blue variant. That's what I remember. It was like a blue variant of it. Super annoying. So just what I'm trying to say is hopefully they're not going to be that stingy on like the drop rate and maybe you could adjust it a bit through modding. But I just remember a lot of people complaining. Like me and my cousins, we just hated that shit so much. We would literally just avoid Lao Shang Lung so much based on that shit alone. It would make it unfucking bearable. So, like, if they can fix that, that's great. Like, don't make it a 35-minute fight and have a 1% drop rate. That's all I'm saying. If you can make it a 35-minute fight and even a 7.5% drop rate, I think that's pretty fucking fair. Then it gives you, you know, you want to run it again and again. It's that repetitive nature that it brings back to the table that makes it fun. Not overkill though, not to the point where it's like, holy fuck man, I gotta go kill this guy again. Because it can get to that point, and when it does get to that point, you kind of fall off. You're like, oh geez, you guys, do you really need that weapon? Yeah, I remember my cousin, he's like, do you really need that weapon? I'm like, oh god, you know, my set needs it. Or like the helmet, I needed the helmet for like the set. And you'll be losing so many of the bonuses from getting all 5 pieces, and it's like, I gotta have that fucking set. And they would get so mad. It's like, dude, we've been doing your Lao Shang Lungs all day. Like, can we do something else? And then I'd be like, finally, oh, guys, you know, like, just one more. It was always just one more, guys. Let's just go kill one more. But anyway, that's enough of that. Like, there was some dramatic moments in the career of Monster Hunter with me and my cousins. I think everyone had that problem. Kind of smells like something's burning. Somebody like burnt their wheel or something outside. That does not smell good. Anyway, more crafting. I'd say more crafting. Bring more crafting to the table. I want to see more special potions you can craft. I think the crafting system was cool. Like you had ancient potions, you had the hot drinks, the cold drinks. Hopefully they leave those. Those were interesting. They had the nutrients. I think that's what it was called, nutrients. They had ancient potions, energy drinks, super energy drinks, demon drugs, armor drugs, the necklaces that you can kind of create. It was like a lot of Zen. It would cost like a ton of Zen. And I'm pretty sure you needed Lao Shang Lung parts again for that. So it was a non-stop fucking cycle. But it was a money sink. I liked that there was that money sink, you know, the incentive of spending your money on, you know, an attack boost. It was like the necklaces, right? The defense ones and the attack ones. If they can get that right, I think that'd be great. Also, just add a lot of stuff. Like, just add more crafting recipes is always fun. More traps. I remember there was pitfall traps. There was the shock traps. There was... Yeah, I think that's it. There was like 2 of them, right? They should add more. They should add like sleep traps, where like you could trap them with like a sleep thing, but make it like so it like picks them up or like launches them or something like that. Optimal damage. Oh, and then the barrel bombs. Sorry guys, the barrel bombs. We cheesed the fuck out of the game sometimes. Fights that were just too tough when we knew it. Like Gravius. You remember the Gravius creature? It was like just a fucking brick wall. And the higher ranked Graviuses were like, they were black Graviuses. And they would shoot laser beams out of their mouths that would one-tap you. It doesn't matter what the fuck you were wearing. That thing would kick your ass, dude. And here's the biggest problem. They would have 2 of them. It would be a dual black Gravius. One of the most terrifying missions I've ever been a part. What we would do is we would purposely take weapons that had paralyze and purposely take weapons that had sleep. And then we would put them to sleep and then craft a fuck ton of barrel bomb pluses and like lay it by its head. And then we're like this, all right boys, 3, 2, 1, and then we would lay down a small barrel bomb plus and just blow that fucker up over and over again. Because the more you blew up a Gravius, the more damage you can do, because like chunks would start coming off, right? And then you could start like actually sinking its armor. Like you could go right through it. And before that, you just couldn't. You would just bounce right off every fucking time. I just remember those Graviuses being so difficult. One of the final missions. Let's talk about something else though. Like, let's go back to Wilds for a little bit here. I think that the desert biome in general is looking amazing. I know they've showed off a few biomes, like there's that spider creature that looks fucking cool, guys. Like, that thing looks insane. I'm really digging the monster designs in this new one. It just gives me good feelings again. You know, when you first played Monster Hunter game and you're just like, oh my god, what's next? What could be possibly next, right? And then you go and see it in person, you're like, oh my god, we gotta hunt that thing. Or they would tease you a little bit with like one that's way out of your league, like way out of your league. And they would tease you with it, and they would go kill the little piece of shit monster you're fighting and just rip it to shreds. That little teasing is what I love about Monster Hunter games. They are very good at teasing monsters that are to come. It would be like a footprint, or, you know, something in the area would be damaged, and it would just showcase this ginormous threat you're about to encounter. Games that do that, man, you're doing something right. You are showing, I don't know what the word or the term is called, but it's like showcasing something that you're about to experience, and it brings that excitement out of you like no other game. I don't know another game that's really brought out that excitement like in the past. Like, is there a game? Maybe. I can't really think of it right now. But Monster Hunter games really did that to me. And I think to my cousins as well. Like, we would be like, oh my god, you guys, look at that, right? We would like, oh my fucking god, like, we gotta kill that thing. And then when we fought it, we would just get absolutely annihilated the first time. And then the second time we would gain a little momentum, a little confidence, and be like, all right, boys, we're putting a strategy together to kill this thing. And then we would, and then like things would be a little bit more smooth. Maybe my brother would die a few times, and we'd be like, come on, man, what the fuck, right? We'd get mad at him and shit. Like, oh yeah, everyone had that friend or cousin that would just die all the time, and you'd get so fucking mad at them. Even if you were the best player, like, I felt like I was pretty decent on the team. My cousin was super good. I think me and my cousin had like similar skill levels. So if I died, it'd be like, oh my god, like, I felt so bad inside for dying. And then I knew like he felt the same way. It's like, you were just ashamed of yourself. It's like, I let my other fellow hunters down by dying. It was so funny. What a good experience, you guys. And I hope that this one is just the fucking same. I'm hoping that this rekindles that fire within me to play Monster Hunter. Man, fingers crossed, you guys. I hope I get into the beta as well. If I do, I'm playing it. I'm fucking playing it, and I'm gonna give you guys the first-hand opinion on what I feel about the game. And it's gonna be, I'm not holding back either. You know how critical I can be about games, but I will not shit on a game like Monster Hunter the way I've shit on Diablo 4. It doesn't deserve it. It's never done anything that extreme. It's never done anything that fucked up, which deserves a beating the way I've given Diablo 4. Diablo 4 deserved every fucking thing I said about it. More. Actually, way more. I held back a little, by the way. There's so much shit I want to say. I just don't want to. It's not worth my fucking time. But I will never, ever shit on Monster Hunter because I know how good the game was, and I know that they're trying so hard to make a game that's good. And they're getting there, you guys. The formula is coming together slowly. As time goes on, we're going to see possibly the best franchise get even better. I'm excited. I want to kill that black flame. I want to see what kind of armor I can craft. Anyway, guys, this is my little rant on Monster Hunter Wilds. A little bit back in the past, too. Touched on Monster Hunter, Lao Shanglong and stuff. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys want more, please comment down below. Tell me what you're excited about with Monster Hunter Wilds. Tell me the things that make you want to play that game. Because for me, it's the different biomes. It's drawing me in. It's the biomes, you guys. I love a good crafted world. And Monster Hunter has never been about a big fucking story or something like that, so I can really get behind it. A game that doesn't pretend to have a story, that's fine. Like, don't pretend to be something you're not. I get that. But anyway, guys, tell me down below what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.